Hey everyone, welcome to Average Joe Preparedness. My name's Rick, and I'm an Average Joe. If you're new here, welcome. Just to info you, I'm an average guy in his garage living in suburbia. Yes, Average Joe Preparedness, which if you go by the scale, which I always use, it starts right here and it moves up to worst case scenario, zombie apocalypse. It's actually right here is for emergency preparedness, which I believe everybody should be into. And then we go to like preparedness, which I'm right here. And you guys are on the journey with me. Not exactly sure if I'm ever going to get up here. Up here, in case you're wondering, is like I have a bunker out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, so probably never going to get there. But I am right about here somewhere. Maybe. Some people would argue with me. We'll see how it goes. Everybody's got their own definition. But let me tell you what I'm not. And it's the reason for the video, which is the meat, which is towards the ends of the video. I'll get to it because I got to do some housekeeping and stuff, is I, by definition, am not a prepper. In case you're wondering why I would say it that way, it's because we'll get to it. Yes? Now, I try to keep things positive, and I try to start down here, work our way up. I make videos, usually scheduled videos. Again, if you've been here before, you know that one about finances is coming and money. Yes? Because I touch base on that a lot, because you can't do anything without money. No. And you can hardly be positive if you're like in debt and bills and all that good kind of stuff. But the first place we always start is basic emergency preparedness. You do not have to be a doomsday prepper. I hope everyone, I encourage, I should say, everyone to do basic emergency preparedness. But you can't do it without finances. If you can't pay your bills, if you can't feed yourself, if you can't pay your rent, then getting things like a first aid kit or a fire extinguisher or a carbon monoxide detector or something basic like that is that you need to feed yourself before you do those things. Yes? Yes. Now, for those of you who've been here, you should know, I hope I have a reputation of being like a normal guy, but I'm positive. I try to stay positive all the time. And I did videos years ago. I wonder if I'm going to put one up there. I love doing that. About being positive and how it helps and how being not positive can hinder. Yes? So I try to stay positive. But as this video goes along, it may get... So if you're like, oh, Rick's all positive. Now Rick's not sounding so positive. You guys can stop the video there if you want. Yes? Because it may happen. I don't know. I've said that a couple times in my videos. I'm not exactly sure how negative I get. I try to stay away from the negative. But, life. What are you going to do? Yes? Yes, that is the way. Okay, real quick, because you guys are on my journey with me, what's been going on? Bake some more bread. Raisin cinnamon. It was a really good recipe. However, it needs more cinnamon. That was the critique. And I've mentioned that when you make it, it's huge and it doesn't have preservatives and you got to eat it. So I'm forcing myself to eat raisin cinnamon bread. Yes? Yes. And for those of you who are here for the update on this book, and once again, I have to give credit to Mr. Cobb, Jim Cobb. I go over the little things, the chapter things, to give people examples of basic preparedness, kind of moving up right here. This is not my stuff, guys. It's a book, and I didn't write it. But I watched one of my videos when I did the chapter 2 and I said, I'm in chapter 2. I meant it literally, like I'm in chapter 2 reading you guys. I've read the book, so it's not like we're following along at the same time in the book. Yes? But real quick, where are they? Rick, get your props better. Put those readers on or do something. Okay, real quick, guys, we got to do this. This is week 3's assignments. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go back and watch it. I just plug these in once in a while because, again, basic, moving up. In week 3 assignments, in the 1 year, by the way, of getting really prepared, tasks are going to take longer than the minute, so I'll be right back. Okay, week 3, and it's got to do with water. Now, remember, the chapters talk, and they're very specific and they're logical as to why you need to do things that are under your assignment. So this chapter talks about water and why it's important and blah, 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 and people should know. But if you're new here, a point like this, if you're new here, moving up, anyways, it's a book. You don't have to get it. Task, determine water storage goals in terms of how long you feel you may need to provide for your own water needs in the event of a disaster. Calculate how much water you should have stored. Remember, you'll need 1.5 to 2 gallons per person per day. Everybody has their own argument about that. Work out a plan to achieve, but the chapter covers why. Work out a plan to achieve your water storage goals. Begin to continue to gather containers that'll work for your situation. Be sure they're clean. The chapter goes over it. Figure out rotation schedules, what you want to avoid. is dumping large quantities in your storage water at once. The 6-month rule is a guideline, not set in stone. Use up and replenish a few gallons each week to keep your supply fresh. Yes? And then the same checklist as always at the end of the chapters. It's savings, water storage, and a small additional grocery list. Yes? Yes. I did that because I know there's got to be like one or two literally, people that come back here just so they can see what's going on with that book with the different chapters. Just something to play around with. Okay, let me see what else we got. Again, a reminder for the new people, you need to go to, if you're just starting out and your finances in order, or you're looking to see how much your finances need to be in order before you can actually start doing basic emergency preparedness, ready.gov, the checklist. I know you guys are like, man, Rick, you do it? Yes, I do. Ready.gov, get that checklist. If your finances are in order and you can start doing it, that's fantastic. If your finances may not be, you can look at that to see where you may be having to spend some money in the future as you can afford it, because everything should be done that way. What can you do? Not what you must do and force a round peg into a square hole. Yes, that's a bad idea, guys. Just my opinion. Okay, more housekeeping. The weather actually got nice yesterday. I'm not joking. You guys are not going to believe me. But it actually got above 40 degrees. And I can't remember the last time the sun was out. And people were actually, and I did too, I actually did some yard work. And the neighbors are out doing it because I live in suburbia. This is Average Joe Preparedness. I'm a suburbanite, I guess. So I live in suburbia. And this winter's running long. So I was actually doing a little yard work. So were the neighbors. It was pretty cool. We're like waving at each other like, wow, we can get out. And as you can tell, I got this going because today it's snowing again. So we had like a 1-day break, which was pretty cool. And what else did I do? I worked on vehicles. Yes, 2 cars, oil changes, the filters, you know what I'm talking about? Yes. Now real quick, chutes and ladders, the way my brain works. In a few of the recent videos, I've mentioned 3 vehicles. But if you go back a while, I only mentioned 2. So no, we didn't buy another car because finances. We make sure we maintain our finances. But my mother-in-law, I don't know if I mentioned in some of the videos, there was like a time span and I said there was a bunch of stuff going on. I don't actually know if I told you guys, but my mother-in-law now lives with us. We redid our basement. Like a lot of people in the United States, we're going back, or we went back, but they're going back to multi-generational houses, if that makes sense, because of inflation and the cost of stuff and medical care and blah, blah, blah. Everything on the financial, usually it's on the financial side that's forcing people to like go back to the way things were. Yes. And we also have stuff available for the next generations if things get really bad. But yeah, we redid our basement and she stays here. And that's why I have 3 cars to maintain now instead of 2. Now, somebody might be saying, Rick, you're just sharing way too much information with us. Hey, it's my channel, and this is what I do, yes? And once again, you guys are on this journey with me, and it's a real journey, and it's for average people. This is what normal people have to deal with. And there's a lot of people in the United States that are having to deal with multi-generational households, whether it's up or whether it's down. You with me? What I mean is parentals or children. So, info you, we're doing it too. I'm doing it too. So you guys know, yeah, I guess this guy is just an average person. Yes. Yes, I am, when it comes to that stuff. So yeah, oil changes, maintaining, we've talked about it before, that you should try to do everything you can at your level and you learn skills and you bring things closer to you and it saves money. Boom, yep, Rick plugged a financial thing in there because it costs a lot less for me because I still got to do my car, so it'll probably be next weekend, 3 cars. If you take 3 cars up to like Jiffy Lube, or I'm not plugging them, or some other thing, and you're going to change your oil and change your filters and check on this and check on that, it's going to cost you a lot more than if you do it yourself. Yes? Yes. And we can also go into, they're probably not going to do as good of a job. No offense to them. I mean, no disrespect. But usually people take better care of their stuff than other people. Usually, not all the time. So, talking about working on cars, I'm going to plug something. I don't get anything out of this, guys. I don't even know if I'm going to show you the name brand. I could cover it up because I don't have sponsors and stuff. But these things right here, for you young people, you're like, yeah, I know what that is. You plug it into the car computer and it gives you the details and the faults and it tells you why that silly check engine light's on. Let me tell you what, guys, back in the day, you couldn't do that. You're with me? You couldn't get these. It was only they were really expensive and it was So it's pretty cool. It's a cool tool. I got to use it yesterday. Well, you know how you got a little thing that says change the oil comes on after X amount of miles that you program into your car? Yeah. Anyways, so by the way, it wasn't that expensive, saved up money to get it, and now I've added it to my toolbox, and the thing works. Yes? Yes. Now somebody might be saying, Rick, why are you showing us that? That don't make no sense to me. Let me walk you through the logic, guys, because this is what I do. A lot of places you can go to now, I don't know, AutoZone or I'm trying to think of some other car. They'll diagnose, they'll plug in for free. You with me? But you got to go there. You got to wait your turn in line. They'll come out. They can't reset them. You see what I'm saying? They'll tell you what the problem is, but they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to, by the way, just throw that out there. But they can tell you what's wrong. With your own and the internet, you can do it yourself. You don't have to drive nowhere. You can go up there. You can find out exactly what it is, blah, blah, blah. You can smack it. You see what I'm talking about? Bringing things closer to you, doing it yourself. Man, it's just what I think. If you guys have a different opinion, I have no issue with that. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You with me? Yeah, so oil change. 2 cars, worked in the yard yesterday. That's what happens when the sun comes out. Now, this is going to sound silly, but here's a little improv for you guys. Yes? Can you guys hear this? Listen. I don't know if you guys can see it. It looks like my little buddy heater, which I don't get anything off of, but I love these guys. It looks like it's about to run out of gas. Yes, now I've had this thing out here and been using it off and on for about a year. But this is an excellent case in point. What am I going to do? This thing's about to run out of gas. Rick, what are you going to do? Panic, panic, panic. No, not emergency preparedness necessarily, but preparedness. It just went out. Oh. Did you guys see that improv thing right there? What am I going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Have spares. Yes? I mentioned it before. You got to have stuff. Sorry, guys. It just happened, so I figured I'd use it as a lesson. Yes? Yes. Give me a sec. I'm going to change this out. Well, I'm glad that emergency was avoided. Yes? Don't turn your back on the camera. See? Change it out. Right there. So, again, chutes and ladders. The way my brain works. This is actually going to go to my pantry. Rick, you don't talk about your pantry too much. Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about it now just because this happened. One of the things about not necessarily emergency preparedness, because to me, emergency preparedness, once again, is fire extinguishers and first aid kits and having kits in your cars. We've gone over that before. And things you have in your house in case of emergency. The next one is preparedness. Preparedness is to be prepared for things you can see and go with the odds of what's probable versus possible. So what's probably going to happen is you should make preparations for, so that way when it happens, you don't like, oh man, son of a gun, holy Moses. See, all I did was change that out and I'm still warm. Yes? Yes. And I have that same concept when it comes to my pantry. Now, I don't have a prepper pantry so much, like way up here. But what I do, again, because I'm moving along like this, and I was reminded yesterday, is let's take ketchup. Yes? Ketchup? Yeah, ketchup. I think everybody uses ketchup. Is I have 3. Might not necessarily be because of the rules of 3, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But I have 1 ketchup that I'm using. Yay, I have a ketchup. And then I have a pantry in my house. I don't know if you guys have, it's like a closet with shelves. Yes, a pantry. And I have a ketchup there. And then out my garage, I have just shelves. They're over there. I've pointed to it before, guys. It's over there. And I have ketchup. You with me? And so I use one, and then when it's done, I take the one out of the pantry because rotation, and I use that one now. And the one that's out here in my garage, I take that one, I move it inside, and then next time I put on a list, and next time I go shopping, I replace that one. Yes? Is it going to last me like 6 months or 2 years or whatever? Nope. And the reason being is because financially, I can't buy everything that me and the lovely lady in my life and now my mother-in-law, what we're going to eat for the next 6 months, or don't have the storage, don't have the money, don't have the finances. And this is not a prepper doomsday channel. This is preparedness. We're right here. Now, maybe eventually, who knows? But no, that's not what this channel's for. This channel is for normal people. What's the big deal about ketchup, Rick? It's not the ketchup so much as it's the example. Yes, and it could be for anything. Whatever it is you use, whatever it is you eat, as you can financially, please make sure it's financially, is pick up an extra to where you have, I think, 3 You know, there's other things I have more of, but that's a general rule. So if it's like mayonnaise or ketchup or I'm trying to think of something that everybody eats. Like, let's take loaves of bread. Yeah, I know I bake my loaves of bread, but I have one and I have two in the freezers. Yes, yes. And it's a good starting point. If you take everything that you eat and you have three layers, then you're pretty well off. Now, that's like a couple weeks, I think. Ketchup, it's a lot longer, but it's a couple weeks of food, and it's a good starting point. And then you move in this direction as you can, as you feel you need to. And now we're going to go to, hopefully this has been positive so far. Now we're going to start moving into that darkness I think I might have warned you about. It's as you feel you need to and as you feel you can, not what other people, including me, are telling you. This is getting really old. Now we're going to move into, I think I said something about what I've seen on the channels and it kind of irked me a little bit. Yeah, we're going to talk about that now. Yes? Yes. And this is for like people that are, people here in the beginning, you know, if you're seeing what's going on in the world and you're like, man, I need to start handling my business. And that's why you're perusing these channels. And I'm sure, hopefully you've checked out a bunch of preparedness channels. You can just Google it on YouTube. It's no big deal. You're going to see some stuff that might scare you, that might put you back, or might be like, holy Moses, these people are nutso, because that's what I'm thinking. And I've been watching these channels for years. Yes, people are going bonkers. And it's across the board. It's not just in the preparedness community or whatever the hell people call it, genre. It's across the board in the world. I know because I go through my news feeds. Is people are going bonkers. And again, I mentioned it before in another video that this isn't new to us. This is, history goes like this. And everybody going bonkers, or a large majority of the people going bonkers, has happened before. It's going to happen again. Just to let you know, it's happening now. What do you need? What do you mean, Rick? Going bonkers? Well, just go through the feeds and don't do it emotionally and be like, this person's doing this and this is what's important and this person's, and you're like, what the hell? That's what I mean. That those things that you go, what the hell, are now becoming mainstream. What the hell? These are things they think you should pay attention to. What the hell? And this is like a big deal. Yeah, they're going bonkers. And the thing is they play to people. They couldn't put this stuff out there in the channels. They can't put stuff out there and not have an audience for it. So don't get me wrong. I mean, if people want, they do it. And to me, it's a vetting process. If you want to latch on to that kind of stuff, cool beans, because they have to have an audience for it. And they do. If you look at like clicks and views and all that good kind of stuff, they have an audience for it. And it's kind of like a vetting thing where you can see people are going bonkers. But anyways, and if that's your thing, I have no issue with it. Don't be offended because I said that you're going bonkers. Yay. Now you may be saying, give me a case in point. Okay, first I got to cover something. I don't know why, but when people do this, when it has to do with anything, they feel like they need to just keep going up and 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 keep going. There's no, they don't want to be stagnant, I guess, but I stay down here because that's where I am. And there's not a lot of channels that are right here. And I've been watching some that started here and I was like, oh, cool beans. They're kind of like right here where I am. And I don't know if it's because of pressure from the outside world or what's going on in the world or algorithms and finding an audience, but some of them are just going, oh, boom. And I'm like, holy Moses, don't know what caused that, but I'm going to give you an example here in just one sec. Now, whenever I see one of those little headlines that says, you think you're a prepper, you're not a prepper. I did one about rules for preppers like years ago because people are like, yeah, if you don't do this, you're not a prepper. If you do this, then you're, and blah, 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 yakety schmackety. So just a couple of days ago, and it was longer than that, I guess. And in my video, I said something irked me. It's because one of the content creators that was kind of like down here and I was watching them, they just went crazy. And I looked at their thing and it was like something about you think you're a prepper or something like that. And I'm clicking on them like, I wonder what's going on with this thing. And he had just gone what I'd consider over the rainbow, because he was like, if you haven't taken into consideration that you're going to have to kill your fellow man, and not only your fellow man, but your fellow countrymen, but not only your fellow countrymen, but law enforcement or the military, if you haven't planned on putting them in your sights and putting them down, then you're a half-ass prepper. It's like, holy Moses. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully. Not a prepper, apparently. So let's just go right back down here for a second, yes? Emergency preparedness, fire extinguishers, first aid kits, blankets, an escape route if your house catches on fire, little smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Yes, ready.gov checklist. Finances. I'm hoping that, and we'll do a video, don't get me wrong, and I've done them before, and hopefully you can see the way the economy is and the Fed's raising the rates. And there was a bank thing, and we're going to talk about that too. The banks aren't doing so good and stuff like that. Yeah, this and maybe a little bit more preparedness, like an emergency kit for your car and having extra ketchup in your house. Yeah, I know it's funny to me, guys. I don't know if it's funny to you. Yes, but making a plan to draw down on my fellow citizens and law enforcement and my military, no. You with me? So if that's your thing, there's other channels. If that's not your thing, if you're like right here, hang out. Yay. Now, hopefully, I don't know, because I improv everything. I don't know how dark that got. Some of you might be saying, "Man, Rick, that was pretty dark, bro. You need to rein that in a little bit." And some of you might be saying, "That was nothing, dude. Just keep on doing what you're doing." I don't know. I won't know until I actually watch it, and then it's all relative to me. So yeah, if you're here because the world is taking a turn and you think you need to start taking responsibility for your own happiness and your own safety, new to emergency preparedness, maybe into preparedness, like, wow, the price of everything's going up. I need to stock up just a little bit. Okay, I welcome here. Yeah, but this is just, that's a little out of control. Probability versus possibility. Yes? Okay, so I'm going to try to bring this to an end, but another thing, I said I was going to do something about finance, and it has to do with another content creator and who you should be listening to, and maybe I'll shoot that video later on today. Yes, Rick, not finance. Trust me, I'll try to make it exciting. I've got a few demonstrations of stuff, not a financial advisor, but again, you're on this journey with me. Yes? Yes. All right, everybody. I hope this finds you well. I hope wherever you are, it's warmer and you can work in your yard or work on your cars like I did yesterday, and now I can't. So I hope this finds you well. I hope with everything that's going on, you're happy. I hope with whatever's trying to drag you down, you can stay positive. And I hope for whatever it is that you think you need to be prepared for, I hope you are being prepared.